Parents wear a lot of hats when it comes to the kiddos, including being a timekeeper, money giver, and of course the behavior police. Do you have a child who is always up before everyone else? Well, guess what? There is an app for that. How about keeping track of multiple allowances? Yep, there's an app, and it can make it easy for you.
Oh my gosh, how about wanting reinforcements for wrangling those kids at bedtime?
Oh yeah.
Teaching them how to become potty trained, explaining screen time restrictions, and modeling good behavior. There's apps for all of that. We've got you covered. And joining us this morning, our tech expert, Nika Allen, to talk about those parenting apps and the sites. Welcome back. It's always good to have you.
Yeah, good to see you. All right, so as a parent, you know, we're always, this one is very big for me. I got a 2.5-year-old, and I am a helicopter parent. I totally am very protective of my little girl.
I was thinking about you when I chose all of
I
these.
bet,
Actually,
yeah.
I was like, okay, let's think about apps chat with.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing we're talking about here is a site that is a very reliable resource for babysitters.
Yes, you can. It's called care.com, and there's multiple things actually. You can find babysitters, you can find senior care help, you can find pet sitters, and you can even find housekeepers.
Okay.
And basically everyone on there, you can either create a job, you know, as an employer, or as an employee, you can put yourself on there. It has to include things like your bio, skills, your education level, references. And so then you can kind of search through all of those and choose who you think by pay, things like that. I know it's a little scary.
So you can filter them.
You can filter. You can look for something specific. You can look by date, and you can, as parents, we can post jobs. So we can say, I am either going on a date night and I need someone for Friday, or maybe I need a full-time nanny to be working 20 hours a week. And you can post that job up there, and you can actually get applicants, and then you could interview them or something. You could say, okay, you can come over, I'm going to interview you, and then figure it out from there. But you can like pre-screen everyone.
Yeah, you know, finding a babysitter, it is like finding somebody for a job. I mean,
really,
if I had kids, I would interview them like I was hiring them.
Exactly, and it really is. And so that's why I think it's so important that we can, you know, do all this pre-screening, and the internet allows us to do that, and that's great.
Exactly. So now let's shift gears a little bit. Chores. A lot of people nowadays, they pay their kids for doing chores. Is there an app that can kind of help you do this a little bit easier?
Yes, there is. It's called Hours.
Of course there is.
Of course there is.
Exactly.
It's called Hours Keeper, and the main version is free, but you can only put 2 either clients or children or however you want to do it on the app for if it's the free version.
Okay.
But you can track your kids' chores. You can put each of your children's name on there and say, okay, if you're gonna go clean the, you know, garage, help me clean the garage for an hour, I'll give you $10. And you can you can actually set a timer on there for them so they can see when it's up. And then they can see everything, how many hours they've worked, how much money that is, and you can kind of work out a deal with them beforehand. Or it's great to track your babysitter's hours. You know, if you have someone, you leave the house and you set the timer, and then you come home and set
that way you know exactly what you're
exactly.
paying them out, so you know how long, and you can kind of track yourself, I guess, too. How long you've been out, so you can kind of figure out what you need to pay the babysitter at the end of the night.
If you want to be cautious and say, oh, I didn't want to spend more than $100 tonight, you can set the timer and say, oh shoot, if I don't come home in the next hour, I'm going to be spending more than $100 on my babysitter.
That's a really smart idea. Now, this is something also that Annalise loves the iPad, loves watching Mickey Mouse on the iPad, but I want to make sure that we limit the amount of time that she's on the screen. There's an app that can sort of monitor the screen time our kiddos get, right?
That's so important nowadays. We have so many devices, and how do you say, no, it's time to stop? But there's apps that can help you with that. One called Screen Time. This app actually also allows you to input chores so they can earn time as rewards.
Oh, wow.
So they can earn more screen time, or they can have screen time taken away from them. So that can really kind of, I think, enable them to make decisions themselves and say, okay, I really wanted to watch this movie, or I really wanted to play this game on the tablet, so I'm gonna rake the lawn, or fold the laundry. Or, you know, one woman had said she just wanted to spend extra time with her children, or say, go on an adventure with mom, and then an outdoor adventure with mom, and then in exchange you get to have 20 minutes of screen time.
That's fantastic.
Right.
So it was kind of, really fun to be able to have that kind of influence, but also giving it to them to monitor themselves a little bit.
That's very cool.
And when it comes to apps, it's not just the little kids. We have stuff for the older kids as well. Kids going after school, they need to learn how to budget and kind of become an adult themselves, and there's apps for that as well, right?
Exactly. There's an app called For College, which is going to help people budget for college. So college is extremely expensive nowadays, as we all know. But this app can help you you can actually select a college. So let's say I went to the University of New Mexico, so I would put that in. And my mom started saving for me before I was born. So I was 0 years old, and she can put that in there, and it can actually help you account for inflation, how much you're putting in a month, how much you started with, and budget from there. And so you can use it to help show your kids, well, if we need to put, if you want to go to Harvard, we're going to need $300,000 saved up by the time you go to college. How much does that mean that we need to save a month in order for you to do that?
That's really smart.
You can also include room and board into that, and so it
Lots
seems like
of good stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Helps
All
you
right.
figure
Well,
it
for
all
more
out.
information on this, guys, of course, we'll have links to these apps if you want to download them and check out the websites at casa.com under the Style tab. And of course, we'll be checking in next week with Unica for more stuff from the tech world.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming
Thanks
in.
for being
Thank
with us.
you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, there is no